guys, my name is Colleen and I am a non-diet intuitive eating dietitian, and today I just want to say nutrition does not always matter. Now, before you get your panties in a bunch, it's not that nutrition never matters, it's just that it doesn't always matter. Case in point, I'm getting ready to make some no churn ice cream. Guys, I've been on a kick making this stuff. I have quite a few recipes on my blog by now. I'm testing another one today, but I'm not thinking about nutrition, right? And one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, when do I implement what I call gentle nutrition, and do I always implement gentle nutrition? Because you'll see in a lot of my full days of eating, I do eat a pretty quote unquote balanced diet, but so basically in this video, I just want to explain when I know to implement gentle nutrition and when I disregard it, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So if you are excited about that and you want to learn more about how to find this balance for yourself, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, because that's what you're going to get here on this channel, is all things intuitive eating, making peace with food and your body, and learning how to eat in a way that feels good both mentally and physically without dieting. Okay, so I mentioned that I'm an intuitive eating dietitian, and a lot of times what you see on social media is pictures of cupcakes, pizza, all those things. And while yes, I can eat those whenever I want, I don't always want to eat those things, right? It's a lot different than the messages that you get on Instagram. Think about it. I mean, pictures of donuts and pizza and all those things are much sexier than pictures of like a turkey sandwich. So of course they get pushed out in the algorithm, but really what intuitive eating is it's merriment of your internal cravings, your desires, what your body's asking for, as well as external nutrition and health knowledge. So I use, in the Society of Intuitive Eating membership community, I use a image of a Venn diagram. That overlap is gentle nutrition. That overlap is intuitive eating. And I just think that depicts it so well. It's not one thing or the other, it is where those two things overlap. And those two things can ebb and flow throughout life. There's gonna be some times where we might just be in survival mode. I'm thinking of like maybe you just have a newborn baby at home and you are just trying to, okay, I need food. That's as far as I could think of, is my body needs food, what can I give it? And there might be other times where maybe you come across a health condition or something like that where you have to pull on more of that external knowledge. Those things can ebb and flow. Maybe you go on vacation, right? That's a perfect example as well, where some of those cravings, desires, that might take more of a precedence, a more area of that circle, right? But for the purposes of this video, I want to talk about when do you implement gentle nutrition and when do you not. So I love a certain quote from the Intuitive Eating book that says, in times of nutrition, consider taste, and in times of taste, consider nutrition. So that, I think, sums it up so well for when do we implement gentle nutrition, right? So let's kind of walk through that a little bit. So perfect example is we maybe decide to go out for ice cream, right? And I'm going for the experience. I want the ice cream. I'm probably not going to implement gentle nutrition, right? The kind of purpose of that is more experience taste based. What I kind of ask myself is, I will say, if I were to implement gentle nutrition, would that take away from the experience? So, I mean, if I want to go out for ice cream, I like the ice cream, right? So I'm not going to try to make a swap for like a fruit sorbet or something like that if I want the real deal ice cream, right? That would probably take away from my experience. So I don't implement gentle nutrition there, right? That's just kind of one example. Kind of the flip side of that is if it's a busy Thursday or something like that, like it is today, and I'm just like, okay, I am, going through the day, it's a busy day, I just need something in my stomach, then I might be more inclined to focus on the nutrition side of things because I just need something, right? Not anything in particular sounds amazing. I might not have the time or access to those things. I just need food. And then I would consider taste and say, okay, for me, okay, carbs, fat, protein, that makes my body feel satisfied and nourished. How can I add in taste to that? Maybe it's adding a certain seasoning, a certain spice, topping, crunch, something like that to make it a little bit more exciting, right? So it's kind of like almost asking yourself, I don't like the word, what is the purpose of this meal, but like, what is the main reasoning or the main driver? Maybe that's a better way to put it for this meal. Is it more like taste experience based, or is it more nutrition, like I just need fuel based? Another important thing is to think about, how would that make your body feel? How would your eating choices make your body feel, right? For instance, maybe there's a lot of days in the week, to be honest, that I have sweet tooth cravings. Sometimes it's in the afternoon, sometimes it's in the evening, but how would I feel? How would my body feel if I had ice cream every single day? I probably wouldn't feel super great. There's gonna be some days where I'm just craving something, not necessarily ice cream itself. It's more of just kind of like something sweet, right? So then maybe I would pick some frozen fruit or something like that. If I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm craving something a little bit lighter. If it's kind of more that general craving, then maybe adding Gent Nutrition wouldn't take away from that, right? But it is also important to think, okay, well, how would this make me feel, right? And that will kind of help you to understand, is this a time where I want to implement Gent Nutrition or is it not? It is totally okay to do things like that as an intuitive eater. Pick, frozen fruit for something sweet. The reason is what matters, right? The why. So here's a really good example. Banana nice cream, like you puree bananas and it gets like ice cream consistency. I feel like it's so like, oh my gosh, that's so diety. Like you shouldn't have that. Really what matters is the why behind it, right? Are you choosing it because you're like, oh, I'd be scared of eating ice cream. I don't want the fat, calories, sugar, whatever. Or is it because you're like, I could use something fruity, a little bit lighter. So I still want something sweet. I can get some extra nutrients in there. Fine, right? Really the why is what matters. Now, I will say that getting to this place of implementing Gent Nutrition, it doesn't necessarily happen like right off in your intuitive eating journey because nutrition does take a back seat because we have to allow ourselves to make peace with food and eat those foods that we've deemed bad. It's really a process of habituation and getting our body used to being like, oh, I can have this food so that we can eat it in a way that's comfortable because there's no fear of, oh my gosh, when am I gonna eat this again, right? It is really habitualizing, really normalizing all foods. You can eat them, right? And in order to do that, we have to eat them, right? So nutrition does take a backseat. In the society, I teach 5 different stages. It's stage 4 out of stage 5. First, we make peace with food. First, we ditch diet culture. First, we focus on really that body acceptance piece, and then we incorporate Gent Nutrition so that it's not kind of coming from a diety place. But like I said, when you are a truly intuitive eater, it is not all pizza and donuts and cupcakes and all those things that you see on Instagram. Yes, you can eat those, but that's not the sole diet of an intuitive eater, right? You can find harmony between nutrition and your cravings, desires, wants, health information. You can find harmony between all of those. I literally help thousands of women do it every single day. And if you need more guidance, I will link in the description of this video to a quiz you can take that's gonna give you a customized workbook that is really gonna help you find this harmony and balance, right? To get to a place where you can incorporate Gent Nutrition again, where you've made peace with food. So I'll link that below. Definitely take a peek at that. And I'll also link below the Society Intuitive Eating membership community if you want to join us and get even more community, even more support, even more guidance. Okay, so I'm gonna go make my ice cream and then I'll come back and I'll show you when it's frozen. It takes like 8 hours. I'll probably come back tomorrow and show you the final, but I'm gonna go make that right now. I'll link to the recipe below, but you're gonna want to take your heavy whipping cream and essentially make whipped cream. And then you're gonna mix sweetened condensed milk with some vanilla, mix that all up. Then you're gonna fold in your heavy whipping cream, your whipped cream that you made, and then you're gonna fold it in. Now do not stir it because you don't want to really crush that air. You want it to stay nice and airy. And this is where you can get creative. Like I said, I have lots of recipes on my site for these, but I'm making a candy bar one right now, so I'm putting lots of candy bar chunks in there. I'm also putting a swirl of caramel in there, and I'm just gonna layer that. So easy, you guys, and it's insanely good. And I'm gonna pop this in the freezer, probably for overnight. It's the afternoon right now, and I will show you the finished product when it's done. All right, I hope this video was helpful in just understanding, okay, when do I implement Gent Nutrition, when do I not? And just giving you, I guess, more of an insight into what intuitive eating truly is. Like I said, not always just cupcakes and donuts.